Hello, adventurers. Josie and Greg are still in my house.
Can't get rid of me now.
They won't
We'll never
leave. So we're just going to finish out the month here.
No, I ate the rest of his Old Bay goldfish.
That's true.
I didn't even have any.
There might be some crumbs left if you
I
want.
don't want crumbs.
All right. We're still doing horror stories. I'm still getting over Josie's. So, Greg, kick me one down, please.
All right. Players ask new DM for serious campaign. They are the opposite of serious.
Oh, I saw this.
I saw this one too. I didn't read it because I
Oh, were you going to choose this one?
I was thinking about it and I haven't read it yet. So this is great because I haven't chosen.
Delight us with your
Yes.
story,
All right.
Gregory.
That's gonna be great.
Had a session 0 last week to set expectations. Always a good move. At session 0, the players agreed that they wanted a serious campaign with a fair amount of roleplay. Their game would be evil aligned, but essentially a suicide squad after a necromancer brought them back, considering them less of two evils. I came up with a style of game where they would be rulers of a new city and emphasize relationships with NPCs would be important. Overall, they seem pretty hyped, except for the one new player emphasizing that since I'm a new DM, I'm going to be trash at DMing. As a new player, that's a weird take.
Wow.
I'm already agitated.
Yeah.
So we're being rude now. Okay.
Just right out the gate.
Yeah. We're just gonna
You know what? At session 0, you got to set that
set
expectation.
the expectation is 0. It's like, hey, it's cool. We want to have a serious game, and also I kind of suck.
I'm going to be the problem player, just a heads up. Spent a week watching new DM advice, YouTube videos, making art. You should also check out this podcast, but you know. And
For entertainment, not for learning anything. All right.
no,
You can-
we have the DM Academy.
we actually- we
I just
actually
want
are
to say,
we're
I've
very
learned a
educational.
lot about everything except for Lord of the Rings.
I think you learned more about Lord of the Rings from doing this show than you have from not watching it.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Greg, please continue.
And everything a new DM does to try to over prepare. I was expecting with an evil aligned campaign to see at least some backstabbing, intimidation, maybe even a bit of a murder hobo. Instead, their interpretation of evil is just to be rude to everyone they meet.
That is kind of evil.
Yeah, it's like a sucky evil though.
Yeah, well, we can't all be evil masterminds. Some people are just
You
sucky
can be
evil.
evil without being rude.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter, baby.
Manners maketh man.
Have some decorum.
Jason, I am no man.
See,
Greg,
here-
please continue before I flip my own table. This table's very heavy. I just moved it.
the necromancer resurrects them. They make fun of him for dying to do it. Whatever, he's dead now. He just didn't give them as much information as they could have. They meet the small city crew assigned to help them. They make fun of the NPC names and character in front of them. Joke about killing the NPCs, and then they just say, just kidding, when they see them getting nervous, etc.
Oh, I have an anecdote for that.
I'm sure you
Of
do.
course you do.
Go on.
For some reason, I'm making fun of making fun of NPC names.
In
It's just so
character.
funny to me.
In character in front of them. The height of nonsense was when the two ranged spellcasters, a druid and a necromancer, separated from the party to confront an angry mob attacking the town by walking up in melee range to ask them to stop.
Oh my God.
They were both anti-charisma loner characters after some "Are you sure?" and having the mob be confused for a moment to give them a chance to at least back away. Instead, the druid started mocking them. I gave the roll initiative and of course got tons of comments about how imbalanced a fight it was when all the mob attacked the squishy mages right in front of them. I fudged one roll to keep the druid from going to 0 hit points, since the system we were playing punishes you severely for getting low hit points anyway. His character has stat reducing injuries that will take 2 in game weeks to recover from. The rest of the group finally gets there to find the fight isn't so bad when you don't frontline the mages. The fight ends when the wife of one of the men in the mob show up to tell them they are making a mistake. She is a high-ranking official of the neighboring city and offers to pay recompense for damages and wants to build a diplomatic relationship with them since she's been tipped off by the necromancer, that I'm assuming the original necromancer, that they are the chosen to save them.
Not the chosen ones.
Ugh. I hate that phrase. The players mock her as well and joke about desecrating the bodies of the dead to her.
Oh my god.
Obviously, she is horrified, but already invited them to visit her city where an important quest MacGuffin is. I end the session for time, and they hear the players begin to talk about how they're going to get a huge payout from the woman and how much the city crew is going to help them. If I continue as a serious campaign, the city crew who dislikes them will do minimal work, and the woman, horrified and disgusted by them, is going to stiff them the money. An armed guard will be following them around the city if they visit, since the high-ranking woman considers them mentally unstable. Since the next session will be pretty gimped, I'm considering messaging them to ask if they would prefer a silly campaign. I'll post an update next week if there is an interest or something else crazy happens. Too long didn't read, which I just did. Group asks for a serious campaign where relationships with NPCs matter. Proceeds to mock NPCs in-game to their faces, and squishy mages separate from the group to confront hostiles up close.
This is a fairly new one, right? This just recently got posted?
Yeah, this is less than 12 hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Ugh.
It's so we've had stories similar to this before where the players are being just jackasses to the NPCs.
Yeah.
And there's an easy fix to this. And like and this is for a new DM. So this is like it's good that you got to encounter this in your first games and now you know how to handle this when it inevitably happens again.
Because it's gonna.
Just give them consequences in game.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy because like you're gonna make fun of the huge guy behind the bar and surprise, he's a level 20 barbarian. Like
Yeah. I do like the...
Like, best case scenario, he won't serve you at his bar anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best case.
I do also like that, hey, do you guys actually just want to do a silly campaign? That's a great angle.
Absolutely.
If that shows he wants to continue playing with them. And like...
You can even pivot your current campaign and just have the tone totally change
Looney
between
Tunes
sessions.
Campaign
The
where
best.
you're all evil. Hilarious.
And I know I keep referencing it, but for listeners on NatPod, that's the whole Trinityville campaign.
Yeah.
Is there it's kind of Looney Tunes and they're all just they're not evil, they're just kind of shitheads.
Mhm.
And it's great. And they're my favorite characters.
So kind of like in this story where their idea of evil is just being rude to everyone.
Yeah.
If that's what they think that an evil person is, I shudder to think how they go around interacting with actual evil human beings in real life. If they're like, this person's rude, they're the root of all evil. It's like, there's some like worse things you could do than be kind of shitty to people.
Mhm.
But like, I don't know. This just, the whole thing's wild to me that you're like, yeah, a serious campaign. I'm looking at you, schmuck. No consequence. Nothing.
I do want to know the names of the NPCs that got made fun of because
absolutely.
there are some
Absolutely.
ridiculous Dungeons and Dragons NPC.
I'll leave a comment right now and see if we can it won't help this recording, but no, I'll feel better.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah. Actually, we're going to leave a link to this story in the show notes. So maybe if we can drag some funny names out of them.
I had a friend who we called Babs, and this girl that we no longer associate with asked why we called them that, and they were like, "Oh, because my last name is," and she just starts laughing. We're like, "What's so funny?" She goes, "I'm sorry, that's such an unfortunate last name," and it's not. It's just a last name, but like, he got so upset he left.
Oof.
Like, there are real consequences to just being, even if you don't mean it, to being shitty to people.
Yeah. And even if you're doing it to we'll bring it back to the game and in life too. Like, even if you're being rude to someone who they themselves can't do anything about it, your reputation is going to spread.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the game and in real life, that reputation is going to catch up to you at some point. Whether it's as severe as getting a beat down when you probably deserve one, or as mild as the shopkeep, and it's again in real life or in the game,
Mhm.
someone had a shop just like either not serving you or, maybe not telling you about whatever deal you could have gotten, or like,
Yeah.
you just you have worse experiences everywhere you go.
Like, I feel like some people forget, just like from a sociological perspective, people talk to each other. Things don't happen in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like, if you're shitty to one person in like the most popular bar amongst locals in town, they're going to tell the rest of the fucking locals that you're a shithead.
Oh, this happened in real life to me last night.
Ugh.
A karaoke DJ that I work very closely with, who's probably the nicest human being I've ever met in my life, had a nice little post, didn't name any names, and just said that someone at his show was like being rude and threatening and like getting in his face and like making a huge problem. And he also mentioned that the bar that he was working in, let the guy stay.
Oof.
So here you have a guy threatening your entertainment and you don't kick him out. So now, because of one influential person, I have an opinion on not only that guy who was being an asshole, but that entire bar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like social media does a lot to spread that. Be like, hey, just so you know, this is the experience I had at this place.
Social media expedites it
Yeah.
Yeah.
because reputation spreading is not new,
Mm-mm.
but social media does expedite it, and
It spreads it to people that wouldn't normally hear about it
yes.
too.
But that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
That's a sociology podcast that we're not doing.
Let me free.
Not to bring it back to Josie horror story,
Oh no.
but Josie, you were really lucky with that stealth check after you killed that bard in my Theros
Oh, I
campaign.
know. I was hanging on by a thread. I was like, please, for the love of God.
Oh, it was gonna be bad if you did not pass that stealth check.
So what else? What else can we talk about in this story?
But honestly,
So generally being rude, asking for a serious campaign when you're not going to take it seriously.
yeah, like that was a dick move.
I think
but
understanding what a serious campaign constitutes, too. Like, it sounds like they
That
didn't know
can
what
go-
they wanted.
That can go in a few directions.
Yeah.
And again, this is I'll just say it for Greg this time. Have your session 0
Mhm.
and do it well. And again, and all of this goes to the DM was inexperienced.
But this
Honestly-
DM sounds like he did everything, like any point that he had where he could have fucked up and done something like amateur,
Mhm.
he, in my opinion, did the right thing.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
yeah,
Like
he
checking
handled this
it, had
expertly.
the session 0, checked in when they weren't really playing to what they had determined in session 0.
No, you're right. And bonus points to the DM here for taking the time to research other content creators and said, listening to a while, watching YouTube channels and listening to podcasts and stuff, and doing the due diligence. There's a lot of resources around now that wasn't around in the 70s and 80s
For sure.
that you can do a lot of studying. But like anything else that you learn from a book and you get thrown into the real world, something is going to blindside you, and it might be your asshole friends.
You know what? 9 times out of 10, it is your asshole friend.
Pretty much always your
Don't
asshole.
look at me when you say that. I
pretty-
don't like it when you look at me.
I agree, Greg. It's always Josie.
Who else would it be?
So, did they say the campaign like fizzled out or
No updates yet.
no updates
so-
on that? Okay, it's a fresh post.
Maybe we'll have an update next week.
We're going to reach out to them and see. Well, not next week because we're recording next week in 2 seconds. But
I meant like in real time
Illusion
next
of
week.
time.
the link to this story is in the show notes. We are going to reach out to the OP and see if we can get some of those funny names and see if they're actually funny.
Mhm.
Because if it turns out the names are actually funny,
Like Hingus
and
Dingus.
I have to pivot and start like going against the DM here, it's like you listen, you brought this on yourself by naming him Hinkle McCrinkleberry.
Mhm.
That's a very serious name, Jason.
If it sounds like anything from that Key and Peele bit, which is where I took Hinkle McCrinkleberry from.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know the fantasy name generator that everyone
God.
uses has some wild options.
some
They took Scrabble blocks and just threw them at the wall.
Listen, some fantasy races lend themselves to silly names.
Mhm.
Okay, looking at you, gnomes. All right, or Goliaths.
Yeah.
Goliaths just have huge names, and Halflings too definitely have great names.
Fantasy names in general typically can be a little silly.
Yeah.
But in the context of the campaign, like you're not gonna go up to the like family of high elves that have been running this part of the country for generations and be like, your name is Starlight Sprinklebutt. And I think that's funny. Be like, my great grandfather is the first of the Sprinklebutts.
Side note, this is my first full day in this house, and I'm learning just now how loud the dishwasher is.
Is it the dishwasher? I thought that was the coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the coffee?
I think it is the coffee.
Making coffee.
Okay, well, I guess that makes sense to me out loud. And I'm not going to edit around it, so y'all can deal.
Enjoy.
It's percolating.
I'm probably going to edit around down. I'm not going to be able to sleep if I don't edit it out.
Percolate me.
We got a reputation to keep here, people. But just listen, that RPG name generator is fantastic. It's great.
I love it.
I'm so lazy. I just I'll go in, I'll hit the randomize button like 6 or 7 times until I find a few names that I'm trying to choose between, and then that's fine.
I'll keep clicking until I find a first name I like. I'll keep clicking until I find a last name I like.
That's what I do.
Except for my turtle, because they only get one name.
Bort. My turtle's name is Bort.
Turtles are only 1 or 2 syllables, and they don't get a last name. So I didn't even use a name generator. I just picked 2 random syllables.
Mm-hmm.
My turtle's name is Bort, and he sounds like Bernie Sanders.
Nice. So there was a tweet series recently, and I'll see if I can find it and have Jim put it in the show notes. It was like a 16 tweet thread where this woman was going through her son's yearbook and just finding all the silly white people names.
Oh yeah. I love that. I love it.
Like names like Braden that are spelled out really fucking weird.
How many GHs can you fit in Kaylee?
17 if you try hard enough.
There's GHs everywhere. Like Braden, BREIGHD. It's like
YNE.
I'm going to name my kid Braden, and then it gets worse.
Yeah.
Named it a password.
I'm waiting for numbers to start showing up in these things, and we're fully off topic here. Let's wrap this thing up.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, we're going to keep going on a different topic in a different podcast. But this story had everything I wanted. This is great.
All the bullshit.
It had all the bullshit. It had all the aneurysms. My heart rate is back up to where it was. So I'm going to take another pill. And but Greg, this is great. Thank you so much. We're going to call this thing here. Go check us out, curmudgeonsanddragons.com. Everything that I could be promoting is on that website, and that saves us heaps of time. I'm at Jason Portizo on Instagram. Josie is at Goblin Scratches on Twitter. And Greg,
still in your house.
Still in my house. Still in my house.
Somebody help us.
He's going to tweet out my address, and you can just come see Greg here.
He's actually going to do it with smoke signals because he doesn't have access to the internet.
Something like that. Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to Curmudgeons and Dragons. Please share this with your favorite adventurers. Leave a review on Apple and follow us on social media. All links can be found at curmudgeonsanddragons.com. Practice safe adventuring, my friends.
This has been a JTP Audio podcast. Thanks for listening.